We recently just heard the president deliver his message of optimism about the American economy. But now that we've had a chance to do some fact checking, it turns out the average American family just doesn't see the results that Obama is talking about. In fact, a new Wall Street Journal survey finds barely over 1/3 of Americans even have enough money to cover a minor car repair or a quick trip to the ER. This means upwards of 60% of the country has to take out a loan or pull out their credit card to cover the cost of any unexpected emergencies. Now, believe it or not, the Federal Reserve actually published a study of their own, and they don't deny it. The Fed admits the Great Recession, that's what they call it, tested many households and found that savings were depleted for many households after the recession. All the numbers are clearly outlined in their study, and it's called the Report on the Economic Well-Being of U.S. Households. And while Fed Chair Janet Yellen points to a number of new jobs, she conveniently points out that most of these new jobs are paying lower than the ones that employees had when they lost their jobs in the first place. The majority of all new jobs created in the U.S. are temporary positions or low-paying entry-level jobs. It's just one more hardship for Americans already struggling to sock away some savings. Now, the entire demand for the insurance industry is solely based on the fact that American consumers consistently do a poor job of saving money and preparing for those hard times. Economist Michael Snyder recommends Americans in today's economy should have an emergency fund that covers all your expenses for at least 6 months. Unfortunately, the Wall Street Journal reports that most Americans don't have enough savings to pay for an unexpected bill, let alone cash or gold reserves to sustain themselves in a time of crisis. MarketWatch.com ran a recent headline, "Most Americans are just one paycheck away from the street." Not exactly a promising way to start 2015. Now, the Adelphi Center for Health Innovation published their own findings on the preparedness of Americans, and they found that 44% don't have first aid kits, 48% lack emergency supplies, 53% do not have a minimum 3-day supply of non-perishable food and water at home. 55% of Americans believe that local authorities will come to their rescue if disaster strikes. 52% have not designated a family meeting place if they're separated during an emergency, and 42% don't even know the phone numbers of all their immediate family members. 21% don't know if their workplace has an emergency preparedness plan, and 37% of Americans do not have a list of all the drugs that they're taking. 52% don't even have copies of their health insurance documents. Now, it may be impossible to predict the future, but it's very possible to prepare for it. And while this report you're watching now may seem to paint a dismal future for the American way of life, we need to take a look at these indicators and use them to prepare for the road ahead.